There is an attack on UK landlords.
A landlord boasting online about a lucrative asylum seeker deals. This is people, some of them in Dubai, sharing tips on TikTok and YouTube about how to earn government-backed income every month. I own 31 properties in the UK. Majority are social housing HMOs, government-backed, no management. All bills are covered by the social housing provider. What do you make of this? Is it just capitalism in action?
I think it is a bit unseemly, but I think this reflects really poorly on the government rather than that individual.
And me, I'm one of the targets. I've been getting attacked by the UK media lately because I found a way to escape the 9 to 5 through property investing. Landlords like myself were being demonized in the UK, and I've personally got a lot of hate because I own 31 properties in Nottingham. In the UK, it's very much a crabs in the bucket mentality. If someone escapes the 9 to 5, they build a successful business, they do well, and they show other people how to do it as well, it's a massive issue in the UK because people will try and drag you back down. The amount of friends I've lost, the amount of people that have turned against me, and just in general, a lot of people will switch on you the more success that you do have if you are based in the UK. So if you're getting into property right now, you need to be ready to take on that kind of hate. So crabs in a bucket mentality is essentially you're a crab, you're trying to get out of your home city and you're trying to make things happen, but people really drag you back down. Okay, that's what it's all about. Now, I just want to let you guys know, I started from scratch. I was working full-time in a call center. I didn't start out with tons of money. I started out with £6,000, but I've managed to raise investment from different investors that I've met pretty much all from YouTube. And now I own 31 properties because of this. Because I got obsessed with learning about property, taking action, really trying to master property. And that's what I've dedicated my last 8 years of my life to. And in today's video, I want to break down how you can break free from your 9 to 5. You might feel trapped right now. You might feel stuck and you might feel like there's no way out. There is, guys. And today I'm going to give you the exact tools that you're going to need to break free of your current 9 to 5 job or your career and get into property, and really how to change your mindset as well and start living a life of abundance rather than scarcity. A lot of people think it's not possible. It's not possible because they're really listening to the media, to the news, to people on social media that have been planted there to misinform you. Okay, now I know this sounds pretty crazy, guys, but the UK government, they do not want you to own property. They want you to be broke. They do not want you to be an owner. They want to keep the power for themselves. They want to control property because there's lots of wealth that can be built through property. Now, if people are, for example, they have a family, and that family is becoming wealthy and wealthier through property investing, guess what? They're now a threat. The family is a threat to the government's agenda. I'll be honest with you. They do not want to see marriages. They don't want to see families. They don't want to see wealth being built. They want to control the wealth. Over taxations on business owners, on landlords. You see all of these strict rules that are in the tenant's favor. It's because they're trying to push out landlords. Okay, but ultimately, it's your right to own properties. If you live in the UK, you should be aiming to buy properties. I'll be honest with you, it's a great way of building wealth. So I just wanted to share some facts with you guys, okay? Now, this is actually a forecast by Savills, all right? Now, Savills have basically expected property prices to rise by 24.5% over the next 5 years. So by 2029, property prices, Savills are predicting that they're going to increase by 24.5%, so basically 25%. Now, what does this mean for you? If you buy a property right now, November 2025, if you buy a property now for £100,000, and believe me, there are lots of properties in the UK for £100,000. You buy that right now. By 2029, one of the most established property companies in the UK, Savills, they are predicting that that same property is going to be worth £124,000. You buy it for 100k now, and literally 2029, it's going to come around fast, guys. Time moves fast. 2029, now that same property should be worth £125,000. If you look back on the data, you'll see that house prices in the UK typically double every 10 years. Now, that's a lot of wealth creation. It wouldn't take you that much to buy a few houses. If you know what you're doing, you know how to find great deals, you know how to find extremely good properties to buy. They're going to cash flow very well, and also they're going to go up in value a lot. This is like the amazing thing about property, okay? You get paid in two different ways, through ownership, capital appreciation, but also through the monthly profit as well. So there's two ways you get paid. So for me, I'm all about building long-term wealth. When I started out in property, I had a vision in my head. I wanted to be a big landlord. Now, initially, my goal was to get 5 houses. I was working in this call center. I was grafting, and scraped together my first deposit. I made it happen. I worked with some small investors. People would loan me like £5,000. I'd give them back a 10% interest rate, and that helped me to get on the ladder, and I'll pay them back. Then I would refinance that first property, use that money to buy my second. My goal was to get 5 of these, guys. But when I got close to 5, I said, you know what? If I can get 10 of these, this is gonna really change my life. And then I worked away at how can I get 20? And then from there, it was like, right, how can I get 30? So now I'm on 31, and it's something I'm still pushing for, like, to go further. I wanna go further. I wanna get to the next level. I think that brings me on nicely to speaking about self-limiting beliefs. A lot of you might think that, you don't have enough money to get started in property, but the truth is, you probably do, okay? Now stay with me. If you've got about £10,000, you have more than enough to get into property, but you don't just need to get into property by buying properties. There's other things you can do as well. Now, for me specifically, I found the most success in property through social housing, which is where you take a property, you would lease it to the social housing provider, or you'd give it to the council for temporary and emergency accommodation. So if you've got £10,000, or maybe you have £7,000 or £8,000, what I'd recommend for you to do is get into rent-to-rent social housing, rent-to-rent temporary accommodation. Okay, now social housing, there's lots of different strategies within social housing. It all kind of comes under that umbrella. What I'm finding people are getting the most success with right now is rent-to-rent temporary accommodation and emergency accommodation. They'll take a property from a landlord, they'll give the landlord a guaranteed fixed rent. Say for example, it's a 3-bedroom mid-terrace house and they're paying £1,000 for that house. They will then take that property, give it to the council for a emergency and temporary accommodation. What it is, in the UK, there's a massive shortage of housing. The government, they don't build enough houses. So what it means is there's a massive problem with people that need emergency and temporary accommodation, but there's just not enough houses. So what you do is you speak with a council and you become a registered provider with them, and then they will take the property from you. So they do it in 2 different ways, through ASTs or through the nightly rates. A lot of the councils are giving out big incentives because a lot of landlords are thinking, oh wait, why am I gonna risk it and give my properties to the council? I don't know who they're gonna put in there. So they will pay good incentives. Now, one of my students, he actually got a £3,000 incentive. He had a 3-bedroom house, like a 3-bedroom HMO, and he got 3 different tenants in there. The council gave him £9,000 as an incentive, and also every month he's going to be making £800 profit from that one house. But what I'm trying to say is, guys, it's working right now. If you've got less than 10k and you're thinking, right, I want to get into property, but I feel like I don't have enough money, and there are other ways you can do it, such as rent-to-rent temporary accommodation, rent-to-rent emergency accommodation. Okay, but if you have £60,000 or more, I would say go straight for HMO, social housing. Go for a social housing HMO. What you do with that situation is you would take a property and you would lease it to a social housing provider. They would give you a guaranteed fixed rent, cover all of the bills, all of the maintenance, and give you a long lease on the property, typically between 3 to 7 years, sometimes 8 years, and it's government backed, and you get paid the exact same amount every single month. These are the 2 strategies, all right? But obviously we're looking at the amount of budget you've got. If you've got less than 10k, 100% you need to be doing the rent-to-rent temporary accommodation, rent-to-rent social housing. If you've got 60k or more, then you want to be going for social housing HMO. But what about if you're in the middle? What about if you have like 30k? There's another strategy that you can actually do. All right, now what it is you would buy a property on a 10% deposit, you would live in it, and you would renovate it and then sell it tax-free. That's one thing you could do. As it's your main residence, you pay no capital gains tax because you're living in that property. So that's one strategy you could do. Or you could buy a property, live in it, and rent out your spare rooms. You're living for free, and you might be making, say, £500 profit per month just from doing that. Not everyone wants to do that. Of course, someone might not want to live with other people, but that's another strategy that you could do. Or you could buy something on a residential mortgage, live in it, get the capital appreciation over time, and do rent to rent on the side as well. Ultimately, guys, you need to be making moves because you're just wasting time. Because realistically, property is a tried, proven strategy. it works. It's not like a business model that you get into property and you don't really know. It's not like a clothing brand where, okay, I'm going to start this business. I'm not sure. It's a very high risk strategy. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm going to give it my best shot. Guys, there's a very high likelihood that you will lose money with that kind of thing. However, if you get into property now and you research, you study, you get mentorship, you get around the right people, you do all of these things, then guess what? You're putting yourself in a position for success. You're setting yourself up for success, and it's proven. Property is proven. I can guarantee you know someone in property that's doing well. Maybe it's a friend of a friend, a relative, a distant cousin. You know someone that bought a house in the UK and they've made good money from it. I would bet money that most of you, that is the situation. Don't get left behind, guys, because right now the opportunity is there. And it's down to you to change your life. No one's going to come and save you. That's what you need to realize. No one's going to come and change your life for you. No one's going to come and say, all right, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to do that. I'm going to give you a load of money. I'm going to get you out of your job. No one's going to do that. So you need to step up. Now, guys, this brings me on to an extremely important mindset thing that you're going to have to do. And it's called the law of attraction. Now, I'm not going to go too much into it, but all it is you need to write down exactly what you want. If you want 10 houses, and you want to be a full-time property investor, write it down, put a date on it, and write it down like you've already achieved it. This is massively going to help you. And what I want you to do is every single morning when you wake up, I want you to look at this goal. I want you to look at it, and I want you to really vision yourself with 10 houses. Okay, now I want you to do this for finances, business goals, personal goals, relationship goals, anything. I want you to write down exactly what you want from life, and every single morning I want you to look at it. That's a practical tip that we can all do today. Now, another thing I want you to do, guys, is be careful what you're consuming. Be careful who you're listening to, because some of you might not know this, but the government has an agenda. They control all of the media, and best believe me, social media, they're controlling a large portion of that as well. So you need to be very careful who you are listening to, because they can feed you the information onto your TikTok feed, your Instagram feed. They can do that very easily. Keep in mind, guys, when you're on social media, there's things that are in there for a reason. All right. So what I want you to do is, number one, I would recommend you stop watching the news, because for me, it's all fake. I don't trust what I hear on the news. My mum, she used to watch the news every single morning before she went to work. And I said to her, Mum, please stop, because whenever you watch the news, I can see it's having a negative effect on you. It's putting you in a bad mood every single day, and I don't want to see that for you. So please stop. And you know what she did? And she thanked me for it. She said, Luigi, thank you for telling me that, because honestly, I can see the benefit. Okay, so stop watching the news, and your social media, be careful what you're listening to and what you're watching on social media. So this is another fact, that 93% of landlords own property as an individual, and only 7% via limited companies or some form of a company structure. Why it's so important that when you're buying your first buy-to-let property, it's very important you do it through a limited company. There's lots of tax benefits of doing it through a limited company, and you're really gonna get stung if you buy in your personal name, guys. You really will. The only reason I would buy in my personal name is if I was doing a residential, putting down a 10% deposit on a property. The reason I would do that is because you're living in it. So you can't really own it in a company. You have to do it through your personal name. And as well, you do get the tax relief if you was to sell that property and you made, say, £50,000 over a couple of years in profit. When you sold that property, you get to keep all of that £50,000 as profit, and you don't pay any tax on that. Okay, that's a great thing that the UK government do actually have in place right now for people. So you should use that. Okay, there's no capital gains tax if it's your personal residence. If you're buying for buy to let, definitely do it in a company. Okay, now guys, let's get back to the point of this video. Ultimately, you want to escape your 9 to 5. You want to get out of your career. You're not happy. You feel trapped. There is a way to get out. And I'm telling you right now, I have no reason to lie to you. You can get into property and change your life through property. I've done it. All of my friends have done it. We've all done it, guys, and there's no reason why you can't do it as well. So I think a lot of people have got self-limiting beliefs. They believe it's not possible. And I think largely it's due to the fact that they're consuming the wrong information. They're listening to the wrong people, and they've got all of these self-limiting beliefs. They might have grown up with self-limiting beliefs that have been put to them by their parents. People have grown up and their parents saying, oh no, it's impossible to get rich in today's day and age. It was easier before. You know, back in my day, you know, they used to give us grants to go to university. The economy was better. All of these things that we might hear as kids growing up, it has an effect on you as an adult. So it's about reframing your own mind and really changing your mindset, and follow people that have done it. Listen to what they're saying. The proof's in the pudding, guys. For me, if someone's got a couple of buy-to-let properties, I'm not going to listen to them. I want to listen to someone that's got a lot, like 100. Okay, 100 buy-to-lets. That's who I'm listening to. So for me, I want to see the proof, the evidence, and then I'll listen. Just be careful who you're listening to, guys. All right. So, guys, another fact for you. As it stands right now, at the rate that the UK is building houses right now, it would take 21 years to clear England's current social housing waiting list. I'm the one that's in the newspapers, okay? Over the last couple of days, they put me on The Sun, The Times, Daily Mail. They put me on all of these newspapers, basically kind of attacking me for doing social housing. Look at the data. It's needed. I'm serving a massive need. People need housing. The government's agenda is to attack landlords and say the landlords are to blame. We're not the ones to blame, trust me. You guys, the government, need to start building some more houses. Until that point, people like me, business owners, people that are entrepreneurial, we're going to meet the demand. Okay, we're going to provide the houses. We're going to buy the houses. We're going to do rent to rents. We're going to provide these people with the accommodation. So it's not the landlords that need to be attacked here. It's not really about attacking anyone. What we need to do is work together and solve the issue. There's a massive, massive issue with people that need accommodation. Okay, guys, I'm gonna let you know something. If you want to learn about BRR, which is the exact strategy that I've used to build my £7 million property portfolio, then I want you to click on the screen right here. There's going to be a detailed 1.5 hour video. You can watch that. It's going to give you the step-by-step on exactly how you can do my strategy and how it's worked for me. And it's very, very detailed. You can watch that. If you want to learn about rent-to-rent social housing, rent-to-rent temporary accommodation, I want you to click on this video right here. This is actually a podcast of myself and Sean Davis. Now, Sean Davis, he is my business partner on the High Performance Academy. We've helped over 100 students to change their life through property. It's a podcast of me and him. We explain the rent-to-rent temporary accommodation strategy in more detail. We've got tons of videos as well on that strategy. So remember what I said, if you've got less than 10K, that strategy is going to be perfect for you. You can still change your life through property. Let's take action. Let's stop procrastinating and stop making excuses. Let's get it, guys. I know some of you are really unhappy with your jobs and your careers. And I've been there myself. I know what it's like. And I feel like God's telling me to tell you that you can change your life through property. Okay, don't listen to all this fake news. Okay, you can change your life. I'm going to be there to support you for your whole journey. Every single week I drop videos, and if you want mentorship from me, you want me as your mentor and Sean as your mentor as well, then click on the link in the description of this video and find out how we can help you. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this video. Smash the like button, share it to a friend, and I'll see you next week.